Hey, friend. Hopefully you're starting to get on here with me. I'm going to try to get through this, even though my throat is really struggling. Hey, Brad Elam, my man, Craig Powell. Hey, we need to talk, Craig Powell. I haven't forgot about you. I'm going to try to get through this show, even though my voice is really struggling. But every Thursday night, 8 o'clock, we're going to do Straight from the Gut. Where are you going, Nick? Hey, Tom Love, how are you doing, friend? Maybe we can ask you some questions about your potential. Carrie Ann Sear, my girl, my friend, my buddy, how are you doing? Sparkle, thank you for getting on here. Man, I'm trying to fight through this. I'm on antibiotics, and I don't feel like I'm getting any better. And I think a lot of people out there right now are actually really, really battling these same sinus infections. I don't know why me, Brittany, and Nicholas all have this cough. I mean, I'm coughing so much, I get a headache by midday every single day. So last week I missed Straight from the Gut. I was out of town and I had really, really bad service. John, I know you go down to Seagrove Beach quite a bit. I just got back from there. Michael Wells, how are you doing, friend? Thank you for getting on here. Hope, excuse me, I hope everything's going well in your life. But last week I missed. The reason why we had bad service, I was in Florida, and this show is very, very important to me because this helps me bring more awareness to me and what it is that I'm trying to do. And if I really had to make this simple, what I do every day is I'm trying to get closer to reaching a level that I don't know what the level is for me, and I don't think anybody on here knows how high your level is. Nobody on here is 100% aware of their own potential. So I'm going to talk about what has held me back so long on reaching my potential. Sorry if I'm too close. This show is really, the point of the show is hey Joey, how are you doing? The point of this show is, if I'm looking back, I'm 44 years old. If I could have gone to Tommy at 30 and said, hey, this is what you need to be working on. These are some of the things that I've written down. And again, for anyone that's just gotten on here, I am battling a really, really bad sinus infection. And Brittany's not here. She's actually going to bring me some cough drops. Hopefully I can get through. So everybody, I'd appreciate it if you like, if you comment, if you provide some type of insight. If you would also share the stream, I would greatly appreciate that. So I really do not think any of us know our own potential. I don't think anybody is aware. I think we all probably underestimate how great we could all be. There's something inside of all of us that Brittany Renee, when you're getting home, there's something inside of all of us that can become great, but we're probably not doing the things, or we're not committed to ways to get there. So for example, this is probably the best year financially that I've ever had. And I can't say that's because of me. Hey, Ginger, how are you doing? I'm not saying that that's this being the best year that I've ever had financially. I can't fully take credit for that because the real estate market, the economy, there's a lot of reasons why it's happened. But I can tell you about what's helped get me there. So this is about reaching your potential. So the definition of potential is having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. Potential, we're thinking ahead. We're thinking about, hey, one day we can do this. And for so long in my life, let's say the first 35 years, I really didn't focus on potential. My focus was on, I want to make more money. Hard work. Hey, Leslie, how are you doing? Hard work does bring results. But Leslie, the problem I really struggled with is I didn't really understand what hard work was. Whenever people say you just got to work harder, I needed a little more articulation. I needed a little bit more of a plan. Dan the man, thank you for getting on here, buddy. Be a pleasure to collaborate with a great mind like you. But Leslie, when people told me I just had to learn, I just had to work harder, I needed more of a blueprint. I needed more of a coded system that would help me work harder, that would help me get more results. So again, potential is having or showing the capacity to become or develop into something in the future. None of us know our own potential. This year, like I said, this will be my best year financially. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not trying to brag. I'm saying this because I feel like there's so much more I could have done. Looking back on this year, there's so many more ways I could have monetized this year. There's so much more effort. I'll be honest. There's so much more effort. Hey, Scott Abernathy, thank you for getting on here. I did not put enough action in place to make more money. I got comfortable, but see, this year will be a stepping stone into next year because my mind knows what it will take to make the money that I made this year. So I'm going to combine what I know and what I do, and next year we're going to take another step. Hopefully, now there's things that could challenge that. So for me, this is what held me back. I'm going to go through I've got 4 things that held me back for too long on reaching my potential or striving towards it. Number 1, I had a lack of interest in self-education. So I went through school, high school, then into college. I never was a good student. Never really wanted to read. I never had interest in improving myself. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even aware of what self-improvement was. And that didn't happen for me until Coach Burke came into my life and he started bringing this awareness. Now, I was an athlete and I understood we practice, but I wish I knew more. As Dan Elam says, I didn't KNOW enough. I did not know enough. I didn't know that these little steps and systems that I was putting into my life, I wasn't aware of how important they were. And I really didn't do this later in my life after college. It was really much more of a get-by mentality. Let's get to the weekend, all right? Let's get to the weekend. Let's get to the weekend. It was that for so many years, and I developed so many bad habits. And when I say bad habits, I'm not talking about drugs or anything like that. I really do believe that your habits are what defines you. So we've got a new guy in our office. His name is Sam Swift, and he's new. And his license have not come in. And during this time, this last week, he has not done very much because we're not doing very much in there. We're not being very proactive. And I told the bunch today, look, this is unfair to the new guy because I do not want him to think this is what we do. I do not want him to develop habits. I had a job at J.C. Bradford after college, and 6 months before I left there, the company was bought out, and we didn't do anything. For 6 months, we were going through a company merger. And before that, it was a very, very demanding job where we worked really, really hard. But those 6 months, I didn't do anything. And then I took a job in sales at a company called Morgan Stanley. And those habits that I was really, that's what I was, the habits of my work ethic, they went with me to the new, to the new job. And it wasn't good enough. That's why I really crashed and burned at that job. But lack of self-interest in developing myself, I had no awareness of this. I didn't even think this is things that I need to do. So every day I'm coming in and I'm just trying to, like, if you were to look at the the amount of improvement that I'm doing, it's not going to show up every day in large scale. It's actually, if you were to look every day, if you come in and you commit to getting better every single day. Hey, Jessica Warner, how are you doing, friend? Thank you for getting on here. Every day, if you come in, if you just get a little bit better every single day, and I'm talking about such a small fraction. A lot of people, if they're not patient, they could say, well, why do I want to do this? Why do I need to do this? Well, after a month, if you have continued this, it's just like a diet. It's what I'm going to get at. If you have continued this progress every single day of training, of developing yourself, of thinking different, of really increasing your mind capacity, over a month, you're going to see a difference. A lot of other people may not see that difference. Over 3 months, you're going to see a little bit more of a difference. It's going to keep multiplying. And then if you look back, like I've been doing this now for 5 years, and to think where I was 5 years ago compared to where I am right now, it really, I hate to be cliche and say mind-blowing, but I really do feel good about the progress I've made over the last 5 years. But with that said, it is a long, slow journey that it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of commitment. You get better in little bitty baby increments. Here's the bad part is if you stop, if you get out of those habits, you get worse in chunks. So think of a diet. If you eat really, really, really good, it's going to take you a while to lose those pounds. And that's a good thing, actually. It really is a good thing. Whenever you start eating bad, you can put on the, Kevin Davis, hey, Butch Jones, is that you? If you let yourself go, you start to lose things in big chunks. For example, I went to Florida. I was down there for about 8 days. I was down there for 8 days. I got away from our training system. We train every morning. We've got a goal to come in and train. That's right. You climb a mountain one step at a time. But you know what, Dan? It seems like you can fall fast. And that's what I was going to say is last week, I really did not focus on our training. We've got a method of where we come in and it's a fundamental coded process of how we sell. I want everybody that works on our team to sell the same way. We put a lot of time and effort into it, but you've got to be able to think very fast in sales. You've got to be able to present options to solve problems. There's a lot of creativity, I believe, that goes into this. Well, it's just like a muscle. If you stop doing this, you'll lose it extremely fast. So me and Coach Burt were doing something. He asked me to help him do something, and it was on his little it was overcoming objections. And I hadn't done it in like 5 or 6 days, and he was asking me questions, and I was really struggling. The reason why I was really struggling is I stopped. I stopped training for 5 days. And again, if you stop, your reset is so much further back. So moving right along, what held me back at number 2 from moving towards the potential is no rehearsal of skill training, which for me is sales. I didn't practice sales. I was always, Tom, love you like this. I was always more of a relationship builder where I would put a relationship first over a sale. And what I mean by that is I would get the people to like me. Hey, Till Larson, how are you doing? I would get the people to like me first. Thank you. Might need a few more. I'm struggling. She saved me. Brittany Renee saved me. Hopefully this will help me, guys. And I appreciate you staying on here. But I could develop relationships, and if I stayed with these people long enough, hey, Kyle Clemmer, how are you doing, friend? Timing would work in my favor, and I could be an order taker. So Dan Elam talks about order taking versus sales. And whenever the market is very good like it is right now, it's very, very easy for people to get into the business and get around people and take their order. What that means is the people pretty much say, I want this house. It's a little tougher than this, but I want this house. Let's go ahead and move forward. And then they negotiate a price. But people still feel like sales agents, they're tricked, including myself during this time. We feel like we're better than what we really are. We don't have to sell them. The market helps us sell. Think about this. If you're an agent and you've got a buyer under $200,000, if you find them a house, you don't have to sell them. If you've got a listing under $200,000, how hard is it for you to sell that house? So this kind of market really, it really makes you, it doesn't make you, but it allows you to get away from what you need to do, and you don't reap any type of bad things right now. But they will eventually, and sell yours, Craig Powell. You can overcome a lot of your flaws in this type of market. So, in this type of economy. So what I did not do is I did not focus on any type of a selling system. I did not understand sales. I thought sales was getting somebody to like me and then use me. I sold them to use me. But that's looking at what I know now versus what I knew back then. It's I was really, really weak in sales, and I had no awareness of how I needed to improve. Because for me now, getting a deal on paper and it closing, that's not really what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, what did I say here? How did I lead this person? What did they expect? Did I overpromise and overdeliver? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm teaching our people to overpromise and overdeliver. And that sounds like you shouldn't do that, but that's the expectations I'm putting in place. We're going to overpromise and we're going to overdeliver. So me not rehearsing, me not practicing, me not drilling in my scripts, or I don't want to call it scripts because I don't really feel like I'm a scripted person. I feel like I'm a structured person that can overcome objections based off a few things that, it's not just a few things. It's just a coded process. But you do have to be creative with the questions that you ask. I wish I would have learned how to do this much sooner, to be honest with you. I didn't know how to overcome objections until a year and a half ago. I've been in the real estate business for 14 years, and I didn't understand how to overcome objections until a year and a half ago. That's pathetic. Number 3, this is really, if I had to say the biggest thing that held me back, this is it. Not enough action. To say that again, clearer, because this cough drops in my mouth. Not enough action. My best friend just joined.